was like, shit.
January 28th, 2025. A small town in Ohio becomes the backdrop for a chilling story of betrayal and murder. The tragic tale of Justin Bach, a teenager whose life was taken in cold blood by two of his close friends. What started as a simple plan to steal some cash quickly escalated into a nightmare no one saw coming. But who was truly responsible for the horrific crime that night? Let's dive into the details. It all started when two teenagers, Austin Myers and Timothy Mosley, decided to rob their friend Justin Bach. Both had known him for years, but that evening would change everything. Austin and Timothy, driven by their desire for easy money, hatched a plan to break into Justin's house and steal from his stepfather's safe.
I understand you have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. And if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish.
How does that work?
As far as like now, if you wanted an attorney, you can always contact, and a lot of them like the public defender's office, but you can also basically invoke your right and say, I don't want to talk to you. I can tell you're all jazzed up and, you know, and just like you were earlier, you know, and there's a lot on your mind because I heard the story. You know, I want to get those details, and I want to get it because after I talk to you, I'm going to go back and talk to Austin. You know, he's still wanting to talk, so he didn't ever tell me he didn't want to. So
I want to talk to you about this. I do want to talk to you, like.
So you don't want to talk to me?
I just maybe not at this moment of time. Like, I want to be able to talk to a defense attorney or whatever, because I think that's more logical.
I never thought it would go this far. I was just going along with it, thinking we'd get in and out, maybe grab a little cash, and go on with our lives, but things didn't go as planned.
A few questions for you. First off, you know, we've had everybody in here, and what happened, I'm going to explain to you. After you got handcuffed and taken to the car by the first officer, what happened is Tim went a little crazy. He started telling Logan everything, and we've already gone to Logan's house, and we've got the gun. We've got all of that. We want to know the truth of who did what and who had the part in it, because we've already got the stories, and we want to know the truth.
I'd feel more comfortable being represented by an attorney.
So you don't want to talk to me?
I feel that'd be a safer way to go.
Talk to me. You want to talk to me. Tell me which.
I think I could help you find the body, but I don't know where it is, but I feel like I can figure it out. I know what city it's in.
Let's back up. So Monday, you guys were over there visiting, hanging out. Did you go there just to really hang out originally on Monday? So you were friends, you used to live next to him. So then tell me what happened from Monday night on, what transpired that led up to this.
So we went back on Tuesday. And
what time did you go back on Tuesday?
1 or something.
Yeah, between noon and 2. So you go back there then, and what was your intent when you went back to the house?
Just the same thing as the day before.
Just to hang out?
This.
What happened when you got there?
I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if anything was planned out or whatnot, but you know what it's like a cable or a chain or something. It goes on somebody's neck.
For what?
Starts with a G.
It starts with this is something that's in the house? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's something that Timmy pulled out of, I don't know where.
The plan seemed simple enough. The two teens went to Justin's house that evening under the guise of hanging out. They had hoped to wait for Justin's stepfather to leave before carrying out the robbery. We were gonna just take what we could and leave. That was the plan. But when we got there, Justin was home. That wasn't part of the plan, but we still thought we could handle it.
So when he puts this around his neck, what happens?
I didn't really know what to do. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I kind of just stood there like an idiot, basically. But they struggled for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Timmy pulled out some sort of a pocket knife. Stabbed. I thought at the time it looked like he was punching him in the stomach, is what I thought. And then I realized when Justin went onto the ground, I realized because there was blood pooling out, so I wasn't doing anything.
You were just freaked out.
I was freaked out. I ended up having Justin's head and part of his back on my chest, and I didn't know what to do at all.
Was he talking? Was you saying anything to him? Was he talking?
He said, "Why?" and "Please help." He said, "Please help" many times.
What was Tim doing?
He was gone. He was in the bedroom.
So you sit there and do you know what Tim was going to do?
Well, he came back with the gun and the gun's case. He had the gun out and he stuck it in his pocket. And they said that we had to go clean everything up.
Did you ever think about trying to call for help? Since he was asking you for help, did you ever think about that?
I don't see how I could have done that, especially in that kind of a situation. He already just killed one of my friends. Now he has a gun too. If he tried to kill me in that same way, it wouldn't happen. But now he has a loaded gun.
Right.
I'm not going to try to compromise that.
Although Austin claims that he just went along with everything and helped with the cleanup and disposing of the body because he was fearing for his own life, detectives know that he's not telling the full truth. While they waited for any contradictions to slip up from Austin, Timothy Mosley, who was placed in an adjacent room, interestingly listened in on the entire interrogation through the thin walls, slowly realizing that Austin is telling a story where he blames him for everything. This small but significant detail would drastically shift the outcome of the entire investigation.
We ended up wrapping him up in a blanket and put him in the trunk of the car. Tim said it'd be a good idea if we made it look like a runaway or something. So like grab his clothes or something, grab some of his clothes. And
what was you think? Did you ever ask Tim why this suddenly happened?
they did take a safe, so I don't know if that was why or if something else I don't know about is why. I don't know.
Did you stop anywhere along the way?
I stopped at some gas station or something.
Did you buy something or do something, or what did you do at the gas station?
Good gas.
So you ended up in West Alexandria.
As far as he said it was West Alexandria.
Do you know what road, or, I mean, how would we find it?
Do you know where Crybaby Bridge is? If you can find that, I can find it.
How far, I mean, did you drive off-road to get to where you took him? Or did you carry him?
Technically both.
Okay,
So he drove off the road. I lifted up a cable that was there. He drove off the road into, I don't know what it normally is, maybe a little field or something. We did like a partial circle. Got out and carried him up and put him behind a tree with the blanket on him.
You guys go, you drop his body off, you come back, where do you go first?
Well, we went to Logan's house.
What did Timmy take something in? What
Yeah,
did
I mean, brought his bag in, like a red drawstring bag.
When did you change clothes?
I think I've changed clothes like 4 times.
Did you burn all of those clothes, or?
Yeah. One more thing I just remembered. When we put the body there, he shot him twice. It looked like he shot him in the chest twice. That was when I was walking away.
When detectives matched Austin Mears' story of events with the true crime scene, it surprisingly aligned with most of what really occurred. The assault did in fact begin on January 28th in the afternoon, likely when Justin Bach served his friends a few drinks. Autopsy records and scene evidence indicated that a metal wire near Justin's chin was the first strike, followed by several stabs to the chest. The body's location was verified as Fudge Road, close to Crybaby Bridge in West Alexandria. Burned garments were spotted in the backyard of Logan, a friend both Austin and Timothy went to in order to get rid of evidence in the robbed safe after the murder. What didn't line up was Austin's version of himself as a mere observer rather than a partner in crime. CCTV recordings shown to officers captured Austin and Timothy stopping by multiple shops buying kill supplies on January 28th, just before the crime. It was clear that Austin had a much larger part in the killing, and after more than 60 minutes of listening to it all, Timothy Mosley finally broke down and asked to speak with police to reveal his side of the incident.
So from start to finish, Monday morning till today.
Let's do it.
I would say maybe 9 in the morning, Monday. He was like, "You want to make some money?" I was like, "Yeah."
What did he tell you?
He told me about Justin's house, his stepdad, saying he has a safe, he keeps it cracked open, and he has a gun and a lot of money. So we were thinking, quick job, in and out, boom, well, make some money. So knocked on his door, nothing. So I was like, okay, knocked again, just in case. That's when Justin answered the door, woke him up, and he was surprised to see us. And so we walk in, he's watching a movie. We sit there and watch a movie with him.
What happens next?
His stepdad came home.
Okay.
And so we left. Went to the McDonald's, just in town. And he talked about it. Austin came up with the idea of continuing with the plan.
Timothy reveals that it was Austin who not only came up with the robbery idea, but also laid out 3 detailed strategies to carry it out. The first strategy involved hoping no one would be inside, allowing them to get in and out quickly while taking the safe, which they believed had nearly $20,000 inside. But if they did run into Justin, the plan shifted. They'd act like they were just visiting and then trick him into going to the basement, where they'd inject him with a deadly mixture using a syringe, planning to kill him quietly.
That's why we went into kind of like the convenience store of town. That's when he got like 4 or 5 boxes of medicine, like the NyQuil. And we were going to get syringes. We put in the syringe, stick it in his neck, he's down.
Curiously, this plan didn't work out when Austin and Timothy went to see Justin on the night of January 27th. Austin got nervous and didn't know how to properly use the syringe. Justin didn't suspect anything during this first visit and stayed safe while both Austin and Timothy quietly left. Even though the plan had failed mostly because of Austin, he was still determined to go through with it since they had already gotten this far. The following morning, January 28th, while out buying new tools for the murder, Austin pitched a new idea. He wanted to go back to Justin's house, kill him, and wait for Justin's stepdad to show up so they could kill him too, making it appear like a double murder. Timothy wasn't on board with this as it felt too dangerous, so they switched to plan C. Visit Justin, kill him, steal whatever they could, and then dispose of the body.
We ended up back to Justin's, pulled into the driveway.
Now, did you know he was there?
We pretty much knew that he was going to be there. He graduated, didn't have a job. Well, what else would you have to do?
Right.
So, knocked, and I had the tripwire in my pocket because
You're the bigger guy.
that, and Austin was like, said something about him freezing because he actually knows the guy. Me, I don't know him. It won't have that much of an effect on me. Knocked on the door.
He comes to the door.
He answers, and he was like, "Oh, hey." So we walk inside, sit down, watch this funny movie. I can't remember what it was called. The plan was, Austin distracts him, I choke him. Austin holds his arms.
Now detectives were dealing with someone who was revealing everything, from beginning to end. A major difference from earlier when Timothy had immediately asked for a lawyer. This sudden openness could mean that Timothy was now trying the same tactic Austin had used, throwing all the blame on his friend by sharing a version of the story that favored himself. But even then, Timothy wasn't avoiding responsibility. He clearly admitted to the part he played in the killing.
If we wanted a drink. Well, Austin needed a piss. He asked me if I wanted a Mountain Dew or anything. I was like, I'm good for now. Austin comes out, and then Justin asked Austin if he wanted something to drink. He was like, okay.
So where are you when this is happening?
Justin was on the couch here. I was on the little couch here.
Okay.
And then Austin was standing right in front of the rocking chair.
Okay.
The plan was, Austin distracts him. I come up behind him, choke him, and then as he came back up, I tried to flip around his neck, trying to choke him. I didn't know that I missed. I got him like right on the chin. He was like this, and he went to come up like that.
And you hit him as he's coming up.
And I was, boom. He's struggling. Austin grabbed his arms. I kicked his legs down, so we ended up on the floor. And then a few minutes later, struggling and everything, Justin put up a fight. Austin was like, "You need to know his chin, it's not really still." So that's when I started to freak out, because my hands were already tied up. That's what that's from. Because I had it wrapped around like that, and it was cutting me. So I started to freak out. I'm just like, shit, this isn't going as planned. I don't know what to do. It's too late to take it back.
Right.
So, not knowing what else to do, I pulled out my knife, because it was right in my pocket, and I started stabbing him.
So what did it feel like when you were hitting it? Did you just go in, or did you have to push, or was it like easy? It was like butter?
It was just easy. I guess it was
really
adrenaline. It was just so slick. I stabbed him. I don't know exact number, even around number, but it was a good multiple times in the back. Maybe I would say around 5 times in the back.
Okay.
Justin Back was stabbed a total of 21 times during the assault. And contrary to what Austin had said, he actually played a significant part in the killing. He held Justin's arms tightly so Timothy could strike him without resistance, and later even tackled Justin to the ground, while Timothy was choking him with one hand and stabbing him repeatedly with the other. During the fight, there came a moment when Timothy stepped away because he was shaken up by everything. His clothes and the entire kitchen were soaked in blood. At that point, Austin took control and used a metal wire to choke Justin until there were no signs of life left.
There was blood everywhere, all over the floor, all over my pants and everything, because I was on my knees, and it was just everywhere. That's when I was watching Austin pretty much just finish it, like by choking him. So he was still moving, and you could tell he was still alive, but hardly. I went to his dad's room, my stepdad's room, trying to find the safe. We cleaned up as much as we could with the rugs that were on the ground. And at the same time, we was pouring ammonia.
Where'd you get? You brought the ammonia with you?
Earlier that day, we stopped at the Dollar General in Main Street. Got ammonia, latex gloves, and some type of chemical you use. I can't.
Or your septic?
Septic, yeah. Because Austin get some of this, and it'll help decompose faster. I was like, whatever works. We cleaned up as much as we could with the rugs that were on the ground. I remember seeing a blanket on the couch that he was using. So I grabbed that, and Austin wore him up. I grabbed the head, arms, the head.
The heavier part?
Yeah. And we take him out to the trunk, throw him in, shut it. We get everything cleaned up. We gather everything he would take if he would want to run away, and just pack it up in the car. Boom. And so we got back into the car and started heading towards West Alexandria. On our way there, he kept talking. Austin kept talking and talking.
What was he talking about?
Just.
How was he describing it? Like he was excited about it, or
just he couldn't get the image of his dead face.
What was he describing? What was he saying?
He just kept mumbling, blabbering on about how he looked and everything, and that he looked different. You could tell the difference and everything. I was like, dude, shut up. I'm not trying to think about this right now. I'm trying to think of moving forward and trying to forget about that.
Right.
We ended up going all the way down there by the bridge. We're driving. We go down. We pretty much go on the outline of the field.
Okay.
With the woods all around it. And we stopped once we got to the middle of the back. Pulled over, stopped the car. We lifted him up. Austin's getting bloody again. He was struggling, trying to get it. So we pretty much just ended up putting him on the other side of this log. And he was in the blanket still. We already talked about it, and about shooting him with the gun. Can't even remember why we came up with that, but Austin was like, I feel like I should do it. I finished him off, so I think I should shoot him. I was like, okay, whatever.
Why? I don't do that.
I don't know. I guess it's because it was a personal thing. I don't know. So I gave him the gun, and I went back to my car, got the gun, came back and gave it to him. I was just thinking one shot, Austin, I'm just like, shit.
The fact that Austin fired shots at Justin's body long after he had died became a major point during the court trial. It revealed Austin's total lack of empathy and regret for killing someone he had grown up with. Some even believed he fired the gun out of anger and hate. Later reports mentioned that Austin showed signs of being a psychopath, which had already been hinted at during his very first police interview right after the arrest.
Why don't you seem concerned about a friend?
I am, but I'm not publicly emotional.
Why do you hold all of your emotion in?
It was a weakness.
It's not weakness.
I feel like it is.
What happened on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week, all of those things put together, with the outcome being Justin dead and dumped, what do you think the outcome is going to be? If this was you that all these things happened to, and was laying out in that field now, what would you think the two people responsible for it should have happened to them?
All throughout the investigation, Austin never once changed his statement. He always claimed that Timothy was the one in charge of everything, while painting himself as a passive helper. But in a twist of irony, it was later the prosecutors who referred to Austin as the true mastermind behind the entire murder.
They wanted it to be a clean and neat murder.
That's the testimony today from one of the two teenagers accused of killing Justin Back. 9 on Your Side's Butler Warren reporter Jay Warren has the testimony.
Extremely difficult testimony to hear today. Timothy Mosley testified that some of Justin Back's last words were why. Why were the two of these men trying to kill him?
During the court proceedings, the case was split into two sections. First, State versus Austin and Timothy, and second, Austin Myers against Timothy Mosley. The first part was fairly straightforward for the authorities, as they already had strong evidence and clear suspects. But things took a turn once both Austin and Timothy started pointing fingers at each other for their parts in the murder. Austin's legal team argued that he was just a passive participant who may have helped buy the supplies with Timothy, but only because he was manipulated. They also claimed Austin's role during the actual murder was minimal, that he didn't stab Justin, but only grabbed his arms in a moment of fear, not to help with the killing. His defense tried to portray him as someone emotionally unstable, who was pressured into going along with it all. Since Timothy had already confessed to taking part in the murder during police questioning, his defense strategy was to show he wasn't the main person behind it. He even agreed to a plea deal in order to testify fully against Austin. That move worked well, and the jury was eventually convinced that Austin had been the mastermind from the start. Someone with no guilt and a reckless plan to commit robbery, even if it meant killing Justin, and possibly Justin's stepfather too, just to keep things hidden. There were also claims that after the murder, Austin even considered killing his own parents. In the end, Austin Myers was sentenced to death for murder, making him the youngest person on death row in Ohio. Timothy Mosley, on the other hand, was given life in prison with no chance of parole.
If you choose for me to die, it's only going to cause more pain and suffering for another family. Not me. It won't hurt me. I won't feel anything.